Get ready. Chapter 1152 reveals Elbaf's King Harrow was assassinated by his own guards amidst a mysterious haki. Luffy makes an insane recruitment offer, and one Straw Hat has been unknowingly unleashing a legendary power all along. Prepare for shocking betrayals and hilarious obliviousness. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Otaku Wave Hub crew. The latest chapter 1152, titled My Terrible Day, has officially aired, bringing us a lot of valuable information. That is the secret of the mighty land of Elbaf, and to better understand explorer Lewis Arnold's warning, ought to stay here too long. Along with the next developments in the underworld, Gaban will show Luffy's group how to defeat the Holy Knights. However, Oda is not in a hurry to return to the upper world. It might take a few more chapters, because a very interesting flashback has just begun in the Warrior Kingdom, where the sun also takes the shape of a warrior. There was a king whose every step shook the world in the past. King Harrow, the proud warrior of the giants, leader of countless armies, and the immortal symbol of Elbaf's strength. He was not only a notorious warrior, but also a living legend. From a young age, Harrow conquered all over the world, looting, destroying, and spreading terror among people. He made the whole world fear him, but every great person has a past. Every criminal has a future. An incident made Harrow change. He broke off his own horns to suppress the violent blood within him, reforming education, wanting to turn Elbaf into a friendly nation, open to trade with the outside world. Thanks to his contributions to the country, he was honored by the Elbaf giants as the bravest king in history. But then an incident occurred not long after King Harrow returned from Mary. He was suddenly assassinated by his own guards. King Harrow's death marked the beginning of a chaotic period in Elbaf. Loki became the scapegoat, with all responsibility placed on him. So what is the truth? In today's video, we will look back at important timelines associated with King Harrow, who fell like a true warrior 14 years ago. The cover page continues with the mini-story of Yamato's pilgrimage around Wano country, the child of the Oni tribe. In this week's 36th chapter, Yamato sent the Casa hat that little Tama knitted to the old man. He was also confirmed as the new feudal lord of the Hakka district. Chapter 1152 opens with Luffy's group continuing to discuss the Holy Knights. Chopper provided all information about the enemy to his teammates. When Chopper recounted that the old man knew how to defeat them, Gaban advised Luffy to focus on how to use King's Haki. That is the core issue. More precisely, it's not about upgrading King's Haki as in the short spoiler from the other day, but Gaban said to focus on how to use it, meaning Luffy still isn't doing it correctly. He also emphasized that those knights are not immortal at all. However, the secret of their rapid recovery has not been mentioned yet. Then Gaban turned to Zoro and Sanji and said, "It seems we're not the only one here who knows how to use Haki." Sanji quickly rushed to Gaban, very comically, asking eagerly, "It's me, right? I knew it. I won't just stand by and watch that moss head and Jin surpass me." But it was unlucky for him when Gaban gave him a Shanktor drink. He pointed directly at Zoro. "You, the swordsman. It seems your body is already very familiar with it. I have King's Haki. The one who doesn't have it accepts defeat, and the one who has it knows nothing." Zoro's nonchalant remark made Sanji freeze. This time, he'll probably be introverted for the rest of his life. Perhaps at this moment, what Sanji needed most was not a bright smile, but a stealth suit. Only invisibility would ease the embarrassment. Not only Gaban, but Luffy also knew Zoro had King's Haki. He even thought Zoro already knew how to use it. "Huh? Didn't you notice? It always bursts out." Gaban was a bit annoyed when he heard that. "Are you kidding me? Haki is only useful when it's discovered and mastered. Are you planning to serve your captain like this? He's a Yonko now." "Oh, I'm sorry." It was the first time Zoro was scolded, and he made a truly repentant face, like a legend. Right next to them, Sanji seemed unwilling to give up. He angrily pressed Gaban again. "What about me, old man?" He seemed to be desperately clinging to a faint hope. It's a good thing Yamato isn't with the Straw Hats yet, otherwise, his ranking would drop even further. Sanji grabbed Gaban and shook his frail body, forgetting that he was a patient just brought back from the brink of death. But the reply was only Gaban's silence. Hazeden and Loki's argument interrupted Sanji's question. "How embarrassing, Hazeden. You're going to let these foreigners rescue our country. Elbaf still has me here. Let you go so you can help the world government again. After all the terrible things you did that day, who could trust you?" Suddenly, Luffy made a surprising offer to everyone. "Loki, how about you become my nakama? If Loki becomes one of our crew, can you let him go?" Zoro and Sanji simultaneously objected. First, there was the issue of Loki's size. Zoro said their ship couldn't accommodate him. Second, regarding the issue of food he would consume, Sanji said he eats even more than Luffy. No one can serve two bottomless pits like them at the same time. Hajirudi realized that Luffy's intuition told him Loki was trustworthy. However, he still firmly refused to release Loki. Loki himself also rejected Luffy's offer and yelled, "Hey, don't mess with me, you little shrimp. There's no way I'll be your subordinate." But Luffy still didn't give up. He kept pestering Haziran, "Please let him go. I want to see him fight." At this point, Rose and Stanson's group had finished assembling the elevator. However, since Haziran and Loki's problem hadn't been resolved, Luffy's group decided to split into two. Group 1 would go to the upper world to confront the enemy first, including Zoro, Sanji, Stanson, Rose, Gob, and Group 2 would temporarily stay in the underworld, including Luffy, Chopper, Gaban, Haziran, and Loki. After the other members of the new giant pirates, along with Zoro and Sanji, had left, Gaban unexpectedly suggested to Haziran to release Loki. Haziran, open Loki's shackles. "Huh, you too, Gaban, what's wrong with everyone? 13 years ago, Loki killed 113 soldiers in the castle and nearly killed Lord Jiran. He also killed his own biological father. He is a criminal in history." "That's true, but actually, that day I also felt a strange haki emanating from the castle." Gaban revealed that on the day King Hero was assassinated, he and Shank were present in the area near Oris Castle, while the red-haired pirates were only at the harbor, not on the island. However, since both of them were at Gaban's house, they didn't fully understand the truth of the matter. At this point, Haziran also vaguely guessed that there was a hidden agenda in Loki's case. He asked Loki to swear before the gods of Elbaf, and then recount everything that happened. Right now, Loki began to tell his story. It was an extremely terrible day. Then, the flashback about King Hero began, starting from the first timeline 14 years ago. Prince Loki and Old Jiran were summoned to Oris Castle. Loki and Old Jiran seemed to have no animosity towards each other at this time. They walked and talked quite intimately. Loki confided to Old Jiran that he extremely hated the world government because they were the ones who killed his idol, Rox D. Zebek. Incidentally, summoned by his father, Loki wanted to express his views to King Hero on the issue of joining the world government. When they arrived in front of the king's room, Loki punched a guard, sending him flying into the door and destroying it. But as soon as they entered, both Loki and Old Jiran were extremely shocked by the scene they witnessed. King Hero was being stabbed by many castle guards. At this point, King Hero was only drawn as a black silhouette, so we don't know if he had turned into a demon or something else. Although it's not very clear, there is a vague horn-like shape on Hero's head, and it's clear he broke them off himself. It feels like King Hero was possessed by something. Jiran shouted, "Hero!" Loki also yelled, "What the hell are you doing?" At the same time, Gaban and Shank were bathing in an outdoor hot spring pool within Gaban's house. His house was located on a tree branch right next to Oris Castle. 14 years ago, Gaban looked much younger than he does now. At this time, only half of his head was gray. His beard was still black, and his chin only had a short braid. Another notable point about Shank at this time was that his left elbow had a strange tattoo, similar to the symbol on Sommer and Kellingham's left arms. Gaban asked, "It's been 3 years since we, uncle and nephew, bathed together like this, hasn't it?" "It must have been 3 or 4 years, right? Of course not that short, Uncle Gaban. It's been 10 years. Since the captain passed away, uncle." "Oh my, has it been that long? Especially for me, it feels even longer. My life has completely changed. To be honest, I just want to stand under the same flag with Bai again. That's why there are so many things I want to know about Bai." "That's right, because you are the child of destiny." Well, let's not talk about complicated things today, Shank." After that, the uncle and nephew chatted and confided about their adventures, such as how they met Dory and Brogy at Little Garden. Ripley was also at home and greeted Shank. He also revealed to Gaban that he had met King Hero at Mary Gi's. That was the red-haired Shank's only return. They both became close friends, but there was something they couldn't discuss there. So today, Shank visited Elbaf to see Gaban and also to meet King Hero to talk about something. At the same time, a mysterious shadow infiltrated the treasure vault of Oris Castle. He was discovered by guards, so he killed them. After that, this person stole the legendary devil fruit of Elbaf. It was a chest in the treasure room. The flashback continued with the second timeline 109 years ago. The narrator said, "Let's go further back in time, to 109 years ago. At that time, if you asked people on the ocean what was the most terrifying thing in the world, everyone would answer that it was the giant warrior pirates. On the open sea, the giant warrior pirates, including young Brogy, Dory, Omo, and Kashi were chasing a strange ship called the Great Eric. At the same time, in a certain kingdom, a ship representing the kingdom of the giant tribe became another reason why the name Elbaf became an even more terrible menace. We can see King Harrow in his youth. He was tall and had horns just like Loki. At this time, Harrow was extremely fierce. I hear there's a very beautiful princess in this castle. Let's see. The appearance of giant monsters made the people panic and flee. Screams were everywhere. A warrior under Harrow peered through the castle window to see where the princess was. Suddenly, Harrow slammed the warrior straight into the castle, destroying it. The people, the king, and the princess of this kingdom were terrified. But Harrow just sneered. Oops, my hand slipped a little. The giant warriors unanimously begged, "Please stop, your majesty." The narrator continued that the king of Elbaf, Harrow, ascended the throne when he was only 45 years old, equivalent to 15 human years, and he was a scoundrel. Indeed, young Harrow looks a bit like Loki, with short, specky hair, extremely violent. He was literally going wife hunting, and if the king refused to marry off his daughter, the fate of this kingdom was predictable. Now, who is your god? Harrow's sinister laugh echoed. Chapter 1152 ends here. And that was the entire detailed content of the latest One Piece Chapter 1152. Thank you all for watching the video. If you found it good, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support Otaku Wave Hub. And now, goodbye and see you again.